Did I cover the things that you had?
Yeah, I wanted the board to hear,
Yeah.
those concerns.
Okay.
The other thing that I have a concern about, I want the board to hear me about, is the formula that would be looked at for the making sure that the stakeholders that need to be involved, that there's a complete cycle of involving the necessary stakeholders that, that we need to involve.
Yeah, I would say that once that body of stakeholders is identified, that the board is informed of that, so that indeed it's as comprehensive as the board members.
We've been criticizing the report for not all stakeholders being invited to participate.
Yeah.
We can't afford that.
Right. I don't disagree on that.
We cannot afford not to get the most out of what we're paying for and what we have in terms of resources.
Would agree.
Okay.
So the board will be informed once that stakeholder identification is solidified, not solidified, because it has to be broadened, then we will do so.
Okay.
But you'll know.
Thank you.
Okay? Okay, we're going to move, okay, one more, then we're going to move on.
I'm sorry. Two observations just from listening to all the input. I know the high school is where the rubber meets the road and where the state is watching and whatnot. But if the first 8 or 9 grades before that don't keep their act together, the high school can only go so far. They can only be so successful if those first 8 or 9 grades are putting a good product into the high school for the high school to be successful. It's kind of unfair to punish the high school if those first grades haven't done their part too. The second thing is...
If I may respond to that?
Sure.
Because you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. We, in making the statement about the responsibility that falls on the high school, unfortunately it falls on their shoulders. They have to produce. And I agree with you 400%. And we have to make sure that preschool through 8th grade is also effective. No question about that. And we do focus on that. And we're pretty good in that area.
Oh, I'm not saying you
No,
haven't.
I'm not saying you're quite, but I'm agreeing with you that those 9 grade periods need to be effective to give something to the high school with which it can work. No question about it. But even there, that full responsibility falls on their shoulder to produce the 2 young ladies that we have over there. But you're absolutely right. Go ahead.
The second thing is why all the planning's great and all the structure's fine, it's only going to be as successful as a consistency in everyone doing their part. And I'll give an example. The school uniforms. The school uniforms was a great idea. It was developed to cut down on a lot of the problems, but it wasn't followed through with. And then another school uniform policy had to be made because the first one wasn't. The kids felt the teachers weren't being consistent. Some was okay, and it blew up into now we have to have patches. If it had started back with an inconsistency, a consistency of the policy and no one deviating from it because you have a bigger goal here, that's just a little microcosm of what happens if someone can stray over the line here and someone can stray over the line here. It doesn't matter how great the plan is, if it's not followed through and everyone gets on board or is, has to stay on board, then it doesn't matter how great it is, it's not going to work.
You're absolutely right again. Absolutely. And that was, I'll get to, I'm going to come back. I wasn't here, but I would agree that everybody wasn't on board, which is not unique, particularly in the initial implementation of the concept. And it's going to be our fault if that doesn't happen. So we've talked about that. We have talked about that. And part of the reorganization will enhance the capability. And even that, I mean, teachers are human beings. And, there's no such thing as perfect. feel good about this school system, I feel good about this high school. That doesn't mean there isn't going to be a Ted Johnson who's going to do his thing. My hope is that if Ted Johnson does his thing, and it's not the right thing, that he'll be dealt with. He'll be dealt with in a professional way. Now, if he's not, that's not Ted Johnson's fault, that's the administrator's fault. And we're going to work on it. We're going to work on it. You're absolutely correct on both issues. Both issues. Board member?
Yes, I guess, and my fellow board members will probably kill me because I know I'm probably going to budget. But, CAPA, the fallacy of CAPA is it looks at the high school. And I really wanted to sort of address the capital use in regards of our K-12 curriculum initiative, not just our 9-12. If these recommendations are for our 9-12 program, then I think we do need to look at it in regards to holistic district-wide implementation, in regards of how we are sort of looking at these actionable items and how this translates and how it can translate to our elementary and middle school program. I think it would be a fallacy on our part to only make these recommendations and also these actionable items for the high school. As you said, it should not be about CAPA. If we're going to make these recommendations, I think we do need to really strategically look at them for our elementary programs as well. I'm really happy that we're looking at this sort of oversight and restructuring for the high school. But I'm disheartened that we're doing it because one of the recommendations from CAPA was about our school leadership team, and yet for K-8, we have no vice principals. Vice principals, or we have the shared principals in our building. It is an absolute disconnect. I'm sorry, I know you guys are going to kill me.
Now,
But,
excuse me, let me interrupt you. I think if the money could be pulled out, I'll take my salary and use that. Seriously.
I think we need to look at that, because if one of the recommendations is for school leadership, and we're going to make these sort of shifts for the high school, then we cannot, in good faith, do that. And as Ms. Young just said, we have these schools in younger grades that we're ignoring in regards to whether or not those recommendations and those actionable items are necessary at that grade level. And we're going to pull those kind of resources and or strategic assessments into the high school. And yet, if we're recognizing that that is a deficit, and we're not addressing it at the elementary level, it's almost, we're spinning our wheels.
You're absolutely correct. One of the things that we have to do, regardless of what outside organization comes in and assesses us, we have to decide what we need for our kids. And you articulate it. And so if we're not tying in, it's our responsibility to tie in regardless of what any external advice comes to us. One of the concepts that I try to implement when I go into a school district is to talk about team. Team. Where does it start? It starts at preschool and it ends at the high school. If somehow we could understand that that's one school district and not three, elementary, middle, and high. Now, in most districts, I'll say across the country, it's 3 school districts. You can't really do it. There must be articulation between 8th grade and 9th grade, and there could, and I think there is. But it has to be rich. There has to be articulation between the elementary school and the middle school. It has to be rich, so that the high school principal, this is weird, should be concerned and interested in what's going on in 1st grade and preschool. And once those little rascals pass through, those teachers should be concerned about what's happening to the kids that we've spent our perspiration on. What's happening to them up at that high school? And where they can assist, they should. So curriculum is one thing. That curriculum should weave through from preschool right on through high school, because if it does, the kids are going to have a better chance of moving skill-wise right on through the line. So you're absolutely correct. I'm not going to spend any more time because this is one of the things that I really would love to see. That's teamwork, where everybody is responsible for everybody. Folks don't realize that in New Jersey, you are responsible for the education of every child in New Jersey, not just those that live in Pennsauken. But that's a concept that doesn't even come into the mind. And so our energy should be, how can we do that? Well, we try to do it through taxation. But taxation is not really the way we educate or fund education. And they know that that's not sufficient because we're not getting the resources that we need. When we plan the budget in the spring, I dare say we're going to have to do some cutting. I dare say. We're going to have to do, that shouldn't be. You have, in North Dakota, you have districts now going to school 4 days out of the week rather than 5. That's ludicrous. Go to China and see how much money they're putting into their educational program. Go to Japan and see how much they're putting into their program. We need to wake up in the United States and understand that our kids are the most important, not battlefields where we spend $11 million, no, billion, I'm sorry, a month. 11 billion. That doesn't come from Ted Johnson. That comes from our representative, Rob Andrews. He corrected me when I said it was 10 billion. He said, no, Ted, it's $11 billion a month for Iraq and Afghanistan. 11 billion. Can you imagine that? I can't. And he said, if we would take just 1 month and give that to New Jersey, we would take care of our educational costs. So who's more valuable? Going after terrorists, and I'm not saying terrorists should inflict damage on us, but those young people to me are the most important. And we're not showing that as a nation. All right, I'm finished preaching. Let's go on with the agenda. Do you dance? I see you dancing. The young lady that took I thought it was you. Okay.
Okay. If you listen to on this record, because we'll take
Return. Report of the zone PTA. Okay, we're going to move on to public comment on agenda items only. Pennsauken Township Board of Education recognizes that the schools are the concern of all members of the community. With this in mind, the Board of Education welcomes and solicits input from the public for a regular monthly business meeting.